This episode is presented by Audi. The all-new fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is a huge leap forward featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and the most advanced tech of any Audi ever. Experience technology that puts you center stage with a panoramic digital stage, plus an optional screen for front seat passengers so they can kick back with a movie. Q6 e-tron is not just a new EV, it's a new way to experience driving. Learn more at AudiUSA.com. Always pay careful attention to the road and do not drive while distracted.
I'm Amanda Dobbins, and this is The Big Picture, a conversation show about women having it all. Sean is out today, and so I am taking over in the only way I know how, devoting an entire episode to mediocre to bad streaming movies starring the greatest actresses of our generation. I'm calling it, naturally, Garbage Women, and here to help me create the definitive canon is yet another overqualified ringer woman, Yasi Salek. But first, we're going to talk about two possible entrants in the Garbage Women canon, Holland, starring Nicole Kidman, and Kinda Pregnant, starring Amy Schumer. Yasi, happy Women's History Month.
Oh my God, thank you. It's my favorite
celebratory
celebratory
month. Thank you so much
month.
for joining me. Thank you for watching like a lot of movies. I felt bad. I gave you a lot of homework.
I thought when you asked me this, you were like, do you like this kind of movie? And I was thinking maybe, not to spoil ahead, but like Irish Wish Lindsay Lohan vehicle, which I was like, I love that kind of movie.
I did lead with Irish Wish. Like,
Yes.
I think I texted you, do you like films like Irish Wish?
And I was like, yes. And then you were like, these ones. And I was like,
yeah.
I'm going to take a look.
I bait and switched you a little. But that's okay. We're gonna be very specific about the Garbage Women canon.
Right.
We have like a whole thing. And we can decide actually whether Holland or Kinda Pregnant belong.
Yeah.
Am
I a misogynist now? Unclear. Possibly.
Did all the people who make these movies?
Yeah. You know how like when men go on YouTube too much and they become incels?
Yes.
Like I think watching these 8 movies is like maybe skewed me into misogyny.
It's my fear for my 2 sons. But that's, hopefully 10 years down the road. Okay, before we do Garbage Women, we have to do some news. Just one piece of news, which is that the full trailer for One Battle After Another was released. Do you know what this film is?
No clue, babe.
This is the new this is a new film from Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. Sorry, yes.
Starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sorry to disrespect Sean and his great passion in life.
Yes. Listen, we can talk about this because it does feature women. So it's germane to today's episode. Totally. I just kind of wanted to let people at home know we've seen it.
Yes.
Or I have seen it.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I saw it on the X.com.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. A+.
Great. We love PTA.
Yes.
In this household.
All right. We're going to start with Holland. Which, so Holland is currently streaming on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It debuted this week. And it stars Nicole Kidman, along with Matthew McFadyen, Gail Garcia Bernal, and Rachel Sennett for like 20 seconds, which we'll come back to. It was directed by Mimi Cave, who directed Fresh, which was a Sebastian Stan, Daisy Edgar Jones, like online phenomenon a few years ago. And I feel like we had a lot of people like adding us on social media being like, when are you going to talk about Fresh? When are you going to talk about Fresh?
Right.
And then
Did you ever?
No, I think I was on leave.
Okay.
And I mostly became aware of it through like Instagram Reels, but which is like maybe gives you a sense of the vein of popularity. Anyway, so Holland.
Yeah.
All right. So the basic premise is that Nicole Kidman is a Midwestern teacher who suspects that her husband, Matthew McFadyen, might be having an affair.
Correct.
Technically, this is Garbage Women because of the rules we're about to enumerate, which is like number one, first and foremost, it stars Nicole Kidman.
Kind of, right? That's really crazy. This woman has 2 Oscars.
Does she have 2?
I
think it's just the one.
Okay, one.
Yeah, it's just the one. She deserves several more.
She should have more.
She is one of the most celebrated actresses of her generation. She's like really good. She's in a lot of great stuff. Have you seen Baby Girl?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that was fantastic. So she's good, but she also works a lot. And she has not been snobby about the streaming universe, is I guess one way of saying it. But also she is just in a lot of Garbage Women stuff. Like she kind of defines what it is.
Yeah. I was texting you about this before, but I was like, I need to understand, like, do you have a gambling problem?
Right.
Is there a financial situation? Because it makes no sense to do this many projects per year at this clip when you're Nicole Kidman? I don't understand.
She does really like to work.
Yeah.
The only insights I have into her financial situation are an interview that she gave once about her husband, Keith Urban.
Sure.
Buying
gorgeous man.
Buying her a Lamborghini or something.
Yes, it's a 2-income household, first of all.
Yeah, but she didn't want it.
Okay.
So he drives it and she drives her Subaru. But that
not driven by money, even.
Well, one half is not driven by money, and the other person is just like buying Lamborghinis.
So you're
all
saying
the time.
Keith Urban is baby girl?
We don't know. We don't know. I just like, but the only insight I have into how money is being spent in that household, and they are legally married, so she's responsible for both halves of it, is that he is spending a lot.
They have several children as well, I believe.
They have 2, I believe.
They have 2. Yeah. I know he likes to make his own special coffee on the road. He brings a coffee maker. Okay. I don't know if that's very expensive.
I mean, coffee is, I don't know if you've been buying the beans lately. But
Yeah,
there's
gone
real
up in
coffee
price,
inflation.
So perhaps that explains the Holland, taking the Holland check.
I mean, she also obviously is on a lot of like direct to streaming TV shows.
Yeah.
That I've seen all of. And like Big Little Lies.
You watched the one with Hugh Grant.
Oh, yeah, of course. The Undoing.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but relevant to this conversation. Yeah, Undoing, the Nantucket show, the Ellen Hildebrand, a perfect couple.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, which I really enjoyed despite myself. But so her willingness to do streaming stuff, her willingness to do TV, Big Little Lies was like HBO, but it's sort of
prestige.
Prestige, and it's like it's sort of like the breakthrough of big name actresses being like, sure, we'll do TV.
Right.
Sure, like we'll like get a little dirty and not just do, our fancy Oscar movies. And she does them so frequently that just because she's in it, I do think it counts as garbage women. It is also sort of about, it is about a woman in the domestic sphere, right?
Right.
And she's realizing some things about her life, which is another like key part of garbage women. And there is sort of intentionally humor.
Okay.
So let's talk about it. Nicole Kidman is like talking like Marilyn Monroe throughout this movie.
The way she speaks is so confusing to me. Do you think that was like a Midwestern accent gone wrong?
Yeah. Some of it is I think that she just takes so many roles that she's like, okay, well now I got to throw in some new voice work to like differentiate this.
Now I'm breathy. Yeah.
And I guess she was like trying to communicate something about the character, like not really being like with it.
Right. Yeah. It was giving pills. It was giving Stepford wife energy. Yeah.
It was giving a little bit of like Truman Show. Yes. I thought at some point.
Yeah. And I think that was probably on purpose.
Or maybe they like saw something in the edit and then we're like, let's veer towards like possible. This to me seemed like totally chopped up. Like as we said, Rachel Sennett is in the first scene and then like never shows up again. Like ever.
What is the point of that character? Just to be like,
I have no point.
She creates the inciting incident, which is I think someone stole something. I'm looking for it now. And then doesn't that lead to her stumbling upon
Yes, I guess so. But
some weird train shit in the. I was like, kind of it. I'll be honest with you. I was on my phone a bit.
Of course.
So I was keeping like stream of consciousness notes, and I kept like writing to you in my notes. Being Amanda, this is boring. Amanda, I'm bored. I don't understand.
It was very. I did as well, and I was certainly like I had to stop at one point. So like the last 30 minutes, I watched like separately late at night. While like honestly,
which is fine because you could watch it
using
every
my
5 minutes separately.
like my microcurrent device while doing it, which was fine. It was quiet, so I could multitask. I guess it's nanocurrent too.
I
don't know.
Do you have the Zip?
The Zip, yeah.
Great one. I believe it's the best one.
Yeah, because apparently it has like dual waveform technology. That's what they say
it's
while
wonderful.
I'm just going like this on my face. Anyway, I did miss all of it, some of it, but Rachel Sennett was just there for 20 seconds and anyone could have played that part.
Yes, correct.
And it did feel like the whole thing about how she stole bacon and like food was sort of abandoned at some point. In a way that makes me think like maybe there was like some sort of like
that character had more
to
was
do
cut later.
and like how much Nicole Kidman is or is not allowed to eat is like was part of the plot at some point.
And the son, right? And they kind of hint at that, like you took away my candy,
right? Although her name was Candy, so that was confusing.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Okay. So anyway, that was pretty half baked. Also, Holland is the name of the film because this is set in Holland, Michigan, which is like a Dutch-inspired town in Michigan.
Yeah.
Sort of like Solvang in California,
been there.
if you're familiar with Solvang.
My college roommate worked at the Heidelberg Inn in Solvang, California,
Okay,
so I've been there many times.
It's a beautiful part of the world.
Very cute.
Yeah. I don't like pancakes as much as everyone there seems to, but like...
They have a great mustard selection.
That's
Lots
true.
of those
No.
mustards.
It's very charming. But so there's like all this like weird Dutch stuff.
Yeah. Which respectfully,
Yeah.
it felt like that was like what made them make the movie. They're like, what if this, like the pitch was, what if there's a movie set in a town that is obsessed with Holland? And then the plot was kind of secondary to like bringing images of that town to life. Because there was a lot of weird imagery of that town.
But like, what does setting a movie in Holland mean? Like, what was up with the Dutch stuff? Like she wears like weird tulip, weird hats.
Matthew McFadden does like a little prayer that didn't seem to be fully in English, but they never explain what that was. And I was like, is this a cult situation?
I mean, I think it was Dutch.
Okay.
I don't want to assume,
Not me being like, not English, but
it would
some
be
other
very
thing.
confusing if it were a different language than Dutch. It definitely seemed in like the Germanic tradition. I'm already like on really thin ice here because if Dutch is not of the Germanic languages, like I'm sorry.
Who's gonna get mad?
I'm sorry, but the Dutch people?
No, it's fine.
They have been the butt of some horror jokes recently, so
they can handle it.
Yeah. So. And there's like a tulip festival that is like central.
Right.
But again, that felt like something that was maybe in an earlier draft of the movie and then they didn't explore it all. There's also like a church element. This is all by way of saying this movie's not very good. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's really hard to follow. I watched it with my parents.
Okay.
Which was actually gave me a lot of insight because I'll tell you what, my parents love bad movies.
Okay.
They are fine. Even at the end of this, they were like, no, that was fine. And I'm like, you were playing solitaire the whole time, Dad. My mom was playing some other game on her. That's how they watch movies.
Okay, let me ask. Solitaire on the phone, desktop.
My dad on the laptop, PC laptop. My mom on the phone, some game that I don't recognize, but it was some Jewel Candy Crush adjacent. And they were like, no, there was suspense. And I was like, yeah, the suspense was what the fuck is going on at any given moment. It was an hour and a half too long.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what are we? And then they never answer. They bring in these like big questions like, okay, Gael Garcia Bernal's character, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah. Dave.
Sure. Dave is always he's scared of the police. He has some like past, because that's why he's scared of the police.
Right.
Never revealed what he did.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Don't know.
I would have liked to know that. Is he on the run?
There is
felon?
also like the movie starts with voiceover and ends with voiceover from Nicole Kidman being like, I feel safe here. Like as if she is also on the run from something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
like he saved her. She was wayward. None of these questions are answered.
No. And I don't want to like fully spoil the movie because it's available on streaming. Most people probably haven't seen it at this point. I don't know. I guess you want to have a weird time, go for it. But like there are a lot of feints. There were a lot of different things that could have happened. And I kept trying to guess what the twist would be. And like all of my twists are way more interesting than what the movie is. Like way more interesting.
Matthew McFadden was great. I thought he's such a good actor.
Yeah, he's wwonderful.
I enjoyed him because he's just phenomenal. Nicole Kidman's wig needs to be tried at The Hague. Like
Yeah, go ahead.
Why?
Why don't you describe it?
I don't even know how to describe. It's always. I don't even think that's human hair.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's.
You think they didn't have that kind of budget?
They must have like.
In general,
it's not laid properly.
It
always looks like it's about to fall off. You can't see any scalp. It's not a lace front. I don't think.
No.
There's always like a barrette somewhere and it's askew. It's so distracting.
So I feel like the askewness was intentional
because she's flustered.
She's like, not quite. She's like off her square.
Sure.
And, like a little daffy. And so the bobby pin like shoved a certain way is intentional. I agree with everything else that you're saying. And I guess they don't have the budget. This is a problem that we're going to come back to in this podcast, specifically like the wig and hair budgets.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lack of knowledge of.
But if you are Nicole Kidman and you wear a wig in every production at this point, why don't you would want a good wig? No, would you would write it into your contract? Your agent would write it into the contract. I want that Kardashian level,
and I want
wig.
I want my hair and makeup person coming with me. And to make sure that everything is according to my standards.
Yeah. I want the person that does Beyonce's wigs on set.
Well, first of all, that person is probably with Beyonce all of the time. I would hope that Beyonce has that an exclusive.
Well, the understudy then.
Yeah, okay.
The apprentice.
But I agree with you. So I think that there's just a lack of technology knowledge. Which is pervasive, right? That's the same thing with fillers, Botox.
Sure.
Some people, they're the experts, and then there's just everybody else.
Yeah, we'll get into that with Family Affair as well.
I do wonder if Nicole Kidman is not really making those aesthetic distinctions.
Sometimes I get into galaxy brain, and I'm like, what if she's an incredible performance artist, and she's super aware, and this is just her thing now, and she's how far can I push it with the horrific wigs, because it is a talk. I went down Reddit threads, multiple Reddit threads. Yeah. This is a known thing, and maybe she's just having a bit of a laugh.
I definitely think that they're all wigs, but part of my galaxy brain wants to be what if they're not wigs?
Then that's
what
even
if that's
more
her hair.
That's even more insane.
Yeah,
no human being's hair looks like that.
There is a commitment to a consistency of the type of hair. I agree that they're just not sitting properly in a way that looks very confusing. And I do also think that she's not trying to spend that much time in hair and makeup. This is actually my theory, is that at some point, you just show up and it's well, we got to film now. And this is what we have,
This dovetails nicely into Family Affair because things that she doesn't have time or care about.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
We need to set up a Family Affair.
A Family
Affair is starring Nicole Kidman, garbage movie canon for sure.
Yeah. Streaming on Netflix.
Starring also Zac Efron.
Yes.
As her much younger love interest. Another hallmark of the garbage movie canon, which I do on As the Feminism Has Left My Body. I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
And then the daughter is played by Joey King, who's lovely. And she works for Zac Efron, who's a big actor.
Right.
And then him and Nicole Kidman, her mother, develop a relationship. This one I was like, oh, Nicole Kidman came and she was like, what are you paying? And they were like, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no American accent for you then.
Okay.
You cannot afford the American accent. I'm bringing the Australian accent.
Okay. Do you think that it just kind of eludes her as time goes on in the shoot? And you can actually...
No, she's actually one of the best. It's one of my pet peeves in films, and this is with all love and respect to the Australian subcontinent, but Australian actors are the most egregious abusers of slipping back into Australian accent when they're doing American accent. I don't know why. I'm sure it's very hard, but she never usually does. She's Australian. They say it in the film, so she must have literally been like, you can't afford the American Nicole Kidman. You're having because there's no reason for her to be Australian. It's not a plot point. It has nothing to do with the character. She's just Australian.
There was a thing that happened in The Perfect Couple. Sorry, the series.
Yeah,
where halfway through she just becomes British, and it was never.
Like Madonna.
I did finish that series. But it was never clear to me whether that was a part of the character or whether she was just kind of slipping. And it was well...
She was probably doing 3 projects at the same time.
Yeah, she was trying to do transatlantic, because it's supposed to be old money or at least fake old money. And so, but the vowels just kind of were turned this way and then they just kept turning a little, I guess.
Even her Australian accent is not strong because she's obviously been in America for so long that it's kind of a watered down version, but I just that amused me. I was like, oh, I
guess that explains the voice a little bit. She was like, this is how I'm going to be Midwestern American, is in this weird voice.
At a certain point, how many accents can one person do, She's only human.
I don't understand why she chose to do this movie or why this movie was made.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh,
Holland. I'm excited about.
Holland, I kind of get. Holland is one of those movies where it on the surface seems like it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it's
they're
possible
like
she was bamboozled.
A few fancy camera angles.
Yeah.
And
there's
great
cool
cast.
imagery, amazing
Sure.
I mean, you have 3 incredible actors in
Yeah.
it. I think she was tricked.
And
in
also
that
she
one.
does seem to like to work.
Yeah, and that's just like a bait and switch one where they
Yeah.
were like, "This is going to be a good movie," and then like, it's really not a
Yeah.
good movie. Not like A Family Affair, which is just off top. No one could read that script and be like, "This is going to be a good movie."
Oh,
except for
I kinda
you,
disagree.
who
yeah,
loves
except
it.
for
Okay.
me. Holland, it just seems like germane to note that Jen Salke, the head of Amazon Movie Studios, was removed from her job this week.
Because of Holland.
No. But I'm just like, well, this is what they're putting out. I'm just kind of like,
Jeff Bezos
these
saw
2
Holland
things.
and was like,
no.
okay.
It's apparently because of like James Bond and all
Send a
that
memo.
stuff. But, it's tough times over there, it would seem. Okay. The other movie that we have to talk about, it has been out for a little while, Kinda Pregnant.
Yes.
It has not been discussed here on The Big Picture. So this is our time.
Okay.
Happy Women's History Month, International Women's Month, whatever you're doing. So this one is an Amy Schumer vehicle, written by Amy Schumer and Julie Paiva, directed by Tyler Spindle.
Okay.
And this is like, it's Bridesmaids, but for pregnancy.
Yeah.
Amy Schumer is also a teacher.
She's a teacher.
Yeah.
There's 3 jobs that women can have. I want you to understand.
Sure. Right.
It's
Go ahead.
teacher,
Mhm.
writer,
Mm-hmm.
or something to do with the arts, like
Right.
gallerist, maybe
sure.
an interior decorator.
Yeah,
These are the
yeah.
jobs allowed in the garbage women canon.
It used to be journalist, but
Right.
then the media fell apart.
Yeah,
so
we
we're no longer
pivoted.
inspirational. Now
it's novelists.
Right. Or if you're going to be a journalist, it's like in A Family Affair where it's like you write Pulitzer Prize winning books and then get like $5 a word from Vogue.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a teacher and her best friend, played by Jillian Bell,
Love her.
gets pregnant. I do too.
Yeah.
And she's like kind of jealous. It's the whole
Yeah.
like bridesmaid thing of like, what is our friendship going to be now that you're going
Right.
through this life change? So then Amy Schumer decides to pretend to be pregnant also. And then hijinks ensue.
I'm sorry, I loved it.
I also thought it was really funny.
I
Like
genuinely loved it.
I am sort of embarrassed to say it, and I went in being like, I don't know about this, and I did think it was pretty funny. I think it marries what Amy Schumer does pretty well, which is like mocking the worst, most insulting parts of being a woman, which pregnancy is like definitely a part of them, and she's always been good at like humor, or always been willing to like make humor about her body and like the physical aspects of being a woman, and pregnancy is just the worst part of that. Everyone's so lucky to have kids, blah 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 blah, but like pregnancy sucks,
etc. etc. It's a body horror film.
So yeah, so it is. It's a body horror film,
Yeah.
like really funny. It meets her and her experiences. So she also famously like had the worst pregnancy ever. She had like the hypermevious, the very intense morning sickness.
Yeah.
And anyway, meets her where it is. It's like just broad enough, but also has specific funny jokes. Pretty good cast.
Great. Chris Gere, who had a small role, but I love him.
I mean, too.
You're
was
the
like,
worst.
Oh,
One of the best
it's that
TV
guy.
shows. Love
So
it.
I didn't know about Brienne Howie because I've never seen Ginny and Georgia.
I actually haven't either. Is that where she's
yes,
from?
Yes.
Okay.
So she is like a big,
it's a huge TV show.
it's
My
like a
cousin Nikki loves that show.
Huge Netflix thing.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of like the Netflix and House Star thing. But I have never watched Ginny and Georgia, so I never had seen her before. I thought she was great.
She was great.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. The woman who plays the third teacher, the coach, the PE coach.
Ursula Carlson.
So
Googled her halfway through. I was like, who is this person?
She's a star. She's
unbelievably
so funny.
She's like the Melissa McCarthy role. And like basically like they're like ripping off the Melissa McCarthy bridesmaid performance, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I still laughed.
But she brought her own spin on it.
Yeah, no. She was like genuinely very funny, but you can just see the blueprint. And that's okay.
Will Forte.
Great. Right.
Fab.
So he is Brienne Howie's brother.
Her failed brother who lives in the garage.
Right. And they also make a big deal of her living in Clinton Hill. And then they have literally a 3-car garage in Clinton Hill that he lives in. So that's my first note of this doesn't make sense. But again, exaggeration of real estate locations is a hallmark of garbage women canon.
Right.
So this definitely counts.
Also, sorry, something I didn't say about Holland, speaking of poking holes. What year was that, babe? Because that Nokia phone they constantly use, that's 1999, but then it's the 90s because they're watching.
No, it was like very clearly 2000. Like 2000 because it's like, I even wrote them down. Here we go. So she's watching Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's a Blockbuster DVD.
Right. She has the Pizza Hut box. That's
Pogs,
the old one.
Beepers.
Pogs are early 90s, though. I played with them
well, I mean, so did I.
Elementary
but
school. Did they last longer?
I guess so. The children, Jack is...
Not me
Jack
angry about the Pogs. I was like, Pogs and Nokia phone are not the same shit.
There's that incredibly weird, like, party up music cue.
Oh, yeah.
And that is late 90s.
And the DMX.
Yeah. It was really, really... Yes, exactly. Yeah. So... I think it was meant to be 2000.
Probably 1999, 2000. Okay, sorry. Back to
right. This is
Kinda Pregnant.
Kinda Pregnant is current.
It's current. I'm gonna say I think I want to know if you agree. I think also if you go into it knowing it's a Happy Madison production, it all falls into place.
Yeah,
because it's a Happy Madison. It has that feel and tone that I love. That besides Bridesmaids, you don't ever see women get to do that.
Yeah, I mean, women typically don't go for body humor. They don't go for like the barfing in the sink. They don't go for like all of that stuff. But pregnancy is like a very good topic for that. I like the pregnancy stuff was pretty good. Like she gets the idea to be pregnant and steals it from a Hatch store.
I just recently was in a Hatch store for the first time. That's a horror movie. Respectfully to the owners.
I have never been inside a Hatch store. I spent a lot of time on like Hatch online during both of my pregnancies being like, maybe if I stare at this long enough, I will will one of these pieces of clothing into being right for me. And I just have to tell you, they never were.
Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you have to dress ugly.
If you dress ugly, also, those clothes aren't cut for most pregnant people. Right. Like the dirty secret about pregnancy, like clothes or whatever, and like models is that most of the time it's like non-pregnant models wearing the bump that you see Amy Schumer steal in the Hatch store. But so the clothes don't accommodate like the rest of your body.
Yeah.
So no Hatch stuff ever worked for me. Also, you know, I
do give you candy in the store, which is nice.
That is
which
nice.
I took even though I wasn't Amy Schumer style. I wasn't pregnant. I was like, I'll have some of that.
The thing where Amy Schumer like gets on the subway and is like, oh, I finally get a seat. Like that actually is a real feeling. And I remember like the last month of when I was pregnant with Sai, like I was just like, I gotta go seize the day. I gotta like be out of the world and like let people be nice to me because like this is really gonna like end very soon.
It's like me with my burnt down house,
like,
which I only have a little more time to really milk that. You think I have a little while?
Yeah,
at least one full pregnancy.
I think a calendar year.
Okay,
right?
Okay, great.
You know, and then like in 2026.
Hatch is definitely not going to send me anything, but maybe other people.
I think it would fit you better than, you know. I liked that. I liked the whole mom, like prenatal yoga scene and Mama Stay.
Mama Stay. It was so, I was like, why are you doing this? This is misogynistic. Why are you doing this to women? Not the movie, the idea of that. Like just because women are pregnant, now they're like lobotomized as well?
The you got this mama culture. Listen, you do got this, mama. And I don't want to say like on International Women's Month. And there are situations in which like it works, but so many products now are sold to pregnant women and like new mothers as like for the mamas, you know?
Yeah.
And like I find it so like blood curdling.
It's infantilizing.
I don't call me mama unless you're my son, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like really, really not interested. I once quit like a workout video, like a prenatal thing, because it was just like this like not pregnant woman being like, okay, mamas, and now it's time for child's pose. And I was like, I physically can't do child's pose right now because I have a belly, but also like you keep calling me mama. So like, could you think through this? Anyway.
That was very funny too. The number of times she fell on the stomach.
It was really good.
Also, Chris Gere's, I can't remember the character's name, random obsession with Red Table Talk and Jada.
Oh,
Pinkett
yeah,
Smith.
that was funny.
A wonderful I love that kind of just super random, like ongoing bit that has nothing to do with anything.
And it's where you can tell that it's like was not noted to death or like there's still some connection to the original person who wrote it, you know? Like the specificity of the humor is kind of funny.
I'll just go on. I'm a huge Amy Schumer fan. I love her. And I think part of what really worked for me with Kinda Pregnant, have you seen Life After Beth?
I never watched that one.
Oh my God, Amanda. It is one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. I watched it twice.
Okay.
It is.
What is the premise again?
It's actually way more serious than you would think. It's not like slapstick comedy. It's about Amy Schumer's character's mother dying and her like sort of the impact it has on her life and changing her life because she has this sort of like profound realizations post her mother dying that she had a complicated It is so fucking good. And I think that's like an underrated Amy Schumer quality, which you'll see if you watch Life After Beth. She's like a deep thinking, like kind of a more profound comedic person. And the through line, I think, of Kinda Pregnant that I loved, my feminism right back in the body, is like the idea of how embarrassing it must feel to be like, I want to have a baby and I can't because I have not met anyone and everyone's doing it and I'm not. And like, that doesn't get talked about that much.
Right. The exclusion.
The like, it's not, I mean, they did have her end up with someone, but also just like,
yeah, they wrapped this up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it is a fairly, like, ridiculous story. And then...
But, like, the level of, like, desperate desire for a thing you can't have causing you to do something so mentally ill, like, pretend to be pregnant to everyone in your life, I thought was, like, a really, like, underneath all the hilarity, like, an interesting message.
And it also... I wish I could remember more of the plot of I Feel Pretty, which was like...
me too.
I think
that's when she hits her head and
and then she like loses all of her body image. Yeah, but it's like in reverse, and so she's like...
That's a John Cena, is that one? Or that's the other one?
No, that's Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, also a great movie. I Feel Pretty okay.
Well, it's like a little long, but it's parts of it are okay.
I'm
but
an Amy Schumer stan.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was very charming. It does have real heart, as you were saying. I appreciated, like, they all go to, like, a prenatal depression workshop. And then, like, lots of jokes about constipation.
And then randomly like, Molly Sims.
Yeah, for, like, 2 seconds.
I believe was a producer on the movie.
Okay, well, good for her.
Yeah, bring her in.
Yeah. I liked it, too.
I say yes.
Yes, this is absolutely Garbage Women. Yes. Bang the gong, yes.
I say, well, would you say it's Garbage Women? Can Garbage Women movies be good?
So, great. Thank you. Incredible segue. Can they be good? Yes, they can. They can't be like Nora Ephron movies.
Okay, so they're supposed to not be like a classic rom-com.
They're not supposed to be cinematic works of art.
Right.
But they can be enjoyable and well-crafted.
Okay.
And like speak to something
so
that is meaningful to us.
The Canon has a wide range of quality within the Canon.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
So then bang, gavel.
Right. So the rules are, has to be direct to streaming. How do you know that you're watching Garbage Women? It's direct to streaming. It stars Nicole Kidman and or any other member of the Big Little Lies cast.
Correct.
And or any recent woman Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Like Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress. Right. In a direct-to-streaming movie.
Right.
And or someone who used to star in $100 million movies at the box office.
That would be Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lindsay Lohan.
And Lohan, for sure.
Right. I do think that counts. And who else? Cameron Diaz, maybe?
Sure.
And Jennifer Lopez. But Jennifer Lopez is a good example. Okay?
Yeah. I didn't watch that one.
It's okay.
But I asked my mom, who of course has seen it, and she said it was great.
I actually did think it was funny.
Okay.
So that, for the most part, these movies aren't the worst movies that you've ever seen.
Right.
They aren't.
Some of them were for me, but.
Yeah, sure. They don't have like the level of care and sophistication that like really elevates them to all-time classic.
Okay.
And there is also just like, Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, Anne Hathaway, Cameron Diaz, like Laura Dern,
which we'll get into.
All just making straight to Netflix movies. Yeah. Like that feels a little bit garbage.
There's one
itself.
On here that when we get to it, I will be pushing back on the garbage movie canon. So
you think because you think it's like a classic?
I just think it's an actual proper good movie and doesn't belong here.
I mean, I was brainstorming here. I was trying to bring some interest.
I'm excited to talk about it because I'm so glad it was on the list because then I got to see like one really good movie.
Okay, so we'll just go through it and we can debate whether they go in or not. Then you can let me know if I've forgotten anything. Okay. But so we'll just start with Big Little Lies Oscar winners.
Oh, got it.
Obviously, Holland, it's the reason it's the news peg for this podcast.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if I would recommend.
If you're my parents playing solitaire, absolutely you should watch this film.
Yeah. If you need to hit the reel for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Throw it on the back. You're not going to understand what's going on.
No, that's the problem. Is that if you're really deep in your real faves, then you will miss something. And I did have to back 10 a few times.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, Nicole Kidman is starring in it. So it's garbage.
And her wig, yeah.
A Family Affair. Nicole Kidman, Netflix, 2024. Yasi. Speak on it.
This is another horrible wig example where I'm like, what's happening here with your wig? I don't like to speak about people's appearances. That's such a lie. I love to speak about people's appearances. I went down another Reddit thread because I was researching.
Sure.
Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, sure. He had all sorts of...
I know. He had a jaw surgery. His masseters were overdeveloped.
Right.
But also, there's other stuff.
Okay.
I would...
So you think that the level of work being done...
Just for both of them and without, no judgment. I do work. I'll say it. I got some Botox.
I mean...
Send some other stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Botox?
I mean, it looks great. No, yes. I know. Yeah.
Since I was 33 years old. Ask me anything.
I mean, I've been on the sidelines for so long from a child birthing perspective that I'm thinking about dabbling.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet.
Well, I'm not here to recommend or to deny you.
Not on this anyway. On our text chain where we recommend dorms back and forth.
Yes,
yeah, all sorts of things. Okay, thank you.
But
you look great.
Oh my God, thank you. You too.
Thanks.
You don't really need it, honestly. I found their faces distracting is all I want to say. That part was difficult for me.
In their defense.
Yeah.
And in the defense of women of a certain age in front of cameras everywhere, speaking also to you and me.
Totally.
The cameras have gotten too good. You
know?
know?
I agree. I think that's part of the wig thing also.
Yeah. And so I do think that sometimes that the production, the lighting, the cameras, everything are not aligned with the way people's faces and hair are
we
looking.
Don't need it. We don't need this much definition. Let's take it back 10 notches. We were good. We had a beautiful
I agree with you.
time.
Put Vaseline on the lens,
Maybe that's why you can't see the Kardashians.
Okay, right. There we go. But it is a hallmark of these movies that at some point they just say okay, well, we're rolling and that's how it's going to look.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The Family Affair wardrobe from Nicole Kidman.
Very good.
Really aspirational to me.
There's a sweater that I took a photo.
Me too.
You know the sweater?
In the kitchen, when she's in the kitchen?
No, when she's on the deck. It's 1 second where they're in their love montage and he brings her a coffee and she's wearing this large white fisherman sweater and I paused and took a photo. I was like, where do I get that?
Yeah, there was predictably a navy sweater, I think crew neck, but maybe navy. I do. It's my favorite color. And she's in the kitchen, which great kitchen, by the way.
Great kitchen. Maybe another side bullet point of these movies. Lots of great kitchens.
Yeah, of course. Because
not Holland,
Nancy Meyers is another
she's the godmother.
Hallmark of this. And I think if the movie is written or directed by Nancy Meyers, it is not eligible for this.
Right.
Also, all of her movies go to theaters.
Right.
But if The Holiday were straight to streaming, maybe it would be in garbage with it. Yeah. But yes, all great kitchens. My thing about the Family Affair house, great house, but a very obvious Los Angeles mashup real estate lie of
I'm what did you write? Fucking Harry Potter, bitch? Because this house, what are you writing?
Also,
what books are you writing that bought you this house?
The exterior, wherever they are, is supposed to be on PCH, but also this is pre-fires, everyone.
Right.
We love you.
Thank you.
But then it's the exterior and the front of the house and the back of the house really don't match. Sort of in a Sound of Music way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but the front of the Sound of Music house and the gazebo are two different locations.
No, I just nodded and I was okay.
Okay. Oh, you do? Oh, okay, you're right.
I did not know that.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
But I do now.
We're big on Sound of Music in my house right now. But still a good kitchen.
Yeah.
Still a good house.
Great music, which you kind of texted me to watch out for. This one had really good music. The Wham opener, the Blondie sequence where she's wearing the cool Blondie t-shirt while she's cleaning. It had good stuff. And also, okay, I didn't watch them in order.
Uh-huh.
I tried to watch Your Place or Mine before this, and
Oh.
then remembered
Yeah.
I literally have seen this film,
okay.
remembered nothing about it,
Yeah.
but refused to subject myself to
Right.
it again. But I watched like 20 minutes of it, and then right into this, I was like, oh, the pacing of this and the dialogue is much better.
A family affair.
Than Your Place or
I
Mine.
thought it was genuinely funny.
It's funny.
I like
The
so
quad
Joey
father
King,
joke?
Yeah,
Really good.
Joey King plays like a Hollywood assistant.
Yeah.
And I do always like, behind the scenes, like making movies, like
Totally.
Hollywood, baby. Watch the studio. It's fantastic. But she is funny. Zac Efron's very funny.
very funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Nicole Kidman is like sort of in a different movie, but that's okay because everyone else is being funny around her.
Yeah, that's not her thing. Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous
God,
Kathy Bates performance.
I forgot that Kathy Bates is just like setting her free by the fireplace in like
she's like an
are.
anchor, but she's up north, so I don't know, maybe Napa or something. But yeah, she has big cert. She really grounds the film.
Sure, yeah. Of course, normal stuff. You would not recommend this movie to others.
No, I would. I mean, if you like garbage movie, women movie, this is like I think a higher up in the garbage.
I found it incredibly charming. Yeah. I remember, and I think I watched it the day it came out. I remember speaking with, colleagues and fellow garbage women appreciators who were far less enthusiastic about it. So, and maybe that just says that it's like lower on the garbage women quality.
I would say it's like a midpoint. Like the montage where they try clothes on. Okay, thank you. I don't need that. Although she looks phenomenal in a top hat, and I was upset. Yeah, it didn't do anything for me.
I mean, I like it, but again, I was very envious of that closet, like literally like the closet space, but also the things inside the closet.
I felt like her wig changed lengths throughout the.
Sure, I mean, maybe she got a haircut.
Right, of course. Right, of course. I did think Joey King was great.
Yeah,
I liked the subplot of her and being sort of self-obsessed. I did think it was kind of a nepo baby coming of age subplot because that was kind of what her vibe is.
But she seemed like a good assistant.
Yeah,
she was working hard.
She became a producer on Icarus Crush 7 or whatever.
Oh my God, I forgot that's what it's called. This is definitely garbage women. I had a nice time with it. Yeah. You mentioned Your Place or Mine. So do you want to go there? Because we're moving into the Reese Witherspoon section of things.
We can talk about it. Again, I told you I didn't rewatch it, and I don't.
Yeah.
I have a vague
you have
memory of. Yeah.
So this is written and directed by Aline Brosh McKenna, who wrote several like classic rom-coms, if not like my faves, and then also wrote The Devil Wears Prada, which is one of the most important movies of our time.
Did she also do the TV show with Rachel Bloom? Is that why Rachel Bloom's in this movie?
She did, yes.
Which I did. I did actually kind of like that show.
She wrote Morning Glory also, which is I think the most underrated. Do you know about this one?
No.
Rachel McAdams is like a TV news producer working at like not the Today Show, but like the third ranked. And then the anchors are Diane Keaton and Harrison Ford.
Oh my God.
And then she has a romance with like a news producer, Patrick Wilson.
Oh, I know. I didn't even heard about this.
I think it's really charming.
Streaming?
No. It was like 2010.
Okay.
Saw it with my dad at Christmas, and when we left the theaters, he was like, "That should win Best Picture." So
obsessed with your dad's
it's really,
criticism.
Yeah, he has a real he has a love for cinema and a unique sensibility. Anyway, Aline Brosh McKenna, very talented. This had some issues.
Yeah, it was not a good movie.
It's really not very good. I think a lot of it is the total lack of chemistry between Reese Witherspoon and
100%
her co-star Ashton Kutcher,
who a little past his prime. If I'm being feminist again,
the tape exists, and so I have to say this. I do think he surprised me with how handsome he looked in this movie.
I met him. Did I tell you this?
No.
I met him in person once. And I was I was shocked, floored at how gorgeous. I never even thought, I was like, he's not my thing, whatever. And in person, I was like, oh.
So a lot of it is tall privilege, right?
But no, he's just he has a glamour. He looks fine. It's not bad or anything, but there was something a little dead behind the eyes. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's that lack of charisma between the two of us.
It does also, I mean, the film is sort of riffing on Sleepless in Seattle in the sense that they are in different places.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. And they just have to do a lot of split screen.
Yeah.
But they also then are not in the same place. And he is like very clearly on like a green screen sound stage with like a picture of Dumbo projected behind him.
She's also a writer, an aspiring writer.
Sure.
She's being a CPA or something, but
right.
But she's in her heart, she's a writer.
This came out in 2023, and her fashion as a aspiring Silver Lake writer and an actual mom, she's not aspiring there. I felt indicted and upset. Most of it I wouldn't wear, but there was one pair of jeans where I was like, oh, should I research those? And then that was like a moment of reflection.
Right. You had to do some introspection after that.
And then I don't think I've worn clogs since, because you just like can't be. And I ride for number 6, but at some point you just like, you have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So it's tough. They don't have chemistry, and it's like very boring to watch them.
It's just like another garbage women trope is like the man, he can't commit. He's a playboy.
Right. Yeah.
He just can't do it.
Yeah.
Except with you.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think that is both like classic rom-com and also all of these. A garbage women trope is that for the most part, these are women in their 40s.
Yeah.
Right? This is like kind of everyone starred in rom-coms or Oscar-winning films in the 90s and 2000s when they made those.
Right.
And now they have to make roles for themselves and also have to imagine like the next generation of women's lives. I
was glad that he wasn't younger because we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm quite sick of that.
They all have jobs, so that's good. And it's nice that none of them are like dependent on these men for really anything other than emotional or sort of sexual fulfillment. But there's not a lot of sex in any of these either.
No.
Just kind of disappointing.
Except for Kinda Pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God. That is a really funny
big sex scene.
Yeah. But yeah, so
it's just not a good movie. The writing is bad. The dialogue is bad. There's no chemistry.
There's no chemistry.
It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
She's charming, but...
I mean, it is garbage women, but...
Yeah.
The other Reese Witherspoon entrant. You're cordially invited. We have talked about this on The Big Picture this year.
Yeah.
Directed by Nick Stoller, starring Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell.
Correct.
I didn't really know what to make of this. I did laugh at times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's a rom-com. Though here's the thing, is that like it's a garbage woman movie, half-baked, married with a garbage boy movie.
Yeah.
Or like a garbage young person movie, a garbage Gen Z movie. Because you could make a movie about the daughter.
Right.
And then a movie about Reese Witherspoon, but they're kind of jammed together.
Yeah. There were definitely funny moments.
Yeah.
I laughed.
Sure.
Yeah.
As I said to you, the Southern family who's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. That did really
resonated for you.
Yeah. I saw some of myself there. And Reese Witherspoon looks fantastic.
Couldn't get over it. I was like, if this was just a vehicle for how good she looks.
She looks amazing. They figured
incredible.
the cameras out on that one.
She looks so good. I'm sorry, I don't buy it that you are attracted to Will Ferrell.
Well, that's the other problem, right? And that's another thing where this is a romantic comedy where there is no chemistry between the people, even though they're both very funny on their own, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Again, my parents were like, it was funny. And I was like, okay.
I mean, it was kind of funny.
Sure.
And I was like happy to watch it. And I watched it opening weekend, which is, I guess, all they can ask of us.
I loved the Southern family. I thought they were the funniest part.
Right. I mean, it like basically would have been better if it were just about Reese Witherspoon.
Right. And being a sort of
right. But
girl
then
boss.
Number one, it's like Sweet Home Alabama, which is tough on a number of levels. And
a baby in a bar.
Right. And then you don't have Will Ferrell. And I would like a Will Ferrell movie too.
He was very funny.
Yeah.
I love him.
Okay.
The best joke, and I'm not going to spoil, but the best joke of the entire film, which I'm pretty sure was slapped on at the end, was the very last scene where they're in the car.
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I turned it off before the credits.
When she's like, wait, do you have a job?
Oh.
I don't spoil, but I laughed really hard at that joke.
Okay. It's all been leading to this. And by the way, we're still just in the Big Little Lies Oscar winners category. We haven't even gotten to non-Big Little Lies Oscar winners. This is an epidemic, but we do need to talk about Lonely Planet. So you watched Lonely Planet at my request. I have asked everyone in my life to watch Lonely Planet, and I think you and Juliet.
Why are you punishing people?
Recommended it to me because I couldn't believe what I was watching throughout the entire film.
It is, again, she's a writer.
Sure. So this is
Laura Dern.
Came out last year. Stars Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth.
Is that Miley Cyrus's ex-husband?
Yes. He of Flowers and Malibu and all of that fame.
Fantastic job he did on reining in his Australian. He's Australian.
Yes.
Really good. Never let that slip. Good for him.
Yeah.
Kudos.
This is written and directed by Susanna Grant. And Laura Dern plays a writer who goes to a residency in, I believe, Marrakesh in Morocco.
Yeah, correct.
A writer's residency. And then somehow befriends the finance boyfriend of like another
ingenue writer who is just
she's like an Instagram poet.
Yeah, she's Rupi Kaur.
Yeah, exactly. And they are both discontented with their lives, and through a stolen bag incident and some insights about the NFL play calling system.
Yes.
They find new meaning in each of their lives.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It is, everything about it is so preposterous. And once again, the number one question is Laura Dern. Like,
Laura Dern wanted to go to Morocco. And they were like, I was like, you know what, sis? If they were like, you can come and we're going to film in Morocco and we'll pay you this amount of money. We're going to film for 4 days.
Right.
And then you can do whatever you want. This was just my theorizing. I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming. Sure. And you get to make out with Liam Hemsworth. I was like, well,
so
I've done enough good movies.
They do make out.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, there's no like sex scene.
Yeah, they don't spend the night together. Do they? I mean, it's like.
No, they do spend the night together when they go on that little.
Is it implied
I think
sex? Like in that.
They stayed in one room.
In that closet? Or when they go on the vacation.
Go on the vacation.
Yeah. That's true. Right. What are they trying to find?
Themselves? No, he just wants to. That's like when they're like solidifying their relationship. He's leaving his Instagram poet because she cheated on. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the whole. Don't watch this movie.
No, I mean, no. I spoiled the NFL thing, though, like not totally. So,
speaking of zero negative 200 chemistry.
I hope they use that play in the NFL. By the way, it is football related. I don't know whether it's college, high school, NFL.
Because he was a football star in high school.
Oh my God. I just remember that scene when she like tries to guess his nickname and then guesses it on the first time. That was so stupid. Also, so she said this like beautiful writer's retreat, which is like, again, the location and the real estate porn here.
Yeah, it's on, beautiful.
Except like her palatial room is like too beautiful. So then she's just like in a closet.
Yeah, because it doesn't have water or something. Also, I'm sorry, your bag was lost, but you have a dry bar level blowout every day. Explain that to me. Where's your face wash?
The one pair of shorts that they put her in was, I thought a crime. And I understand people travel in, their most comfortable clothing. The shorts were really bad. Yeah. Don't do that to Laura Dern.
She has great hair, though.
Yeah, she does look great. I mean, I guess that it was...
But I'm not...
The blowout was like the day before.
It's like 6 days, though. That shit is grease falling out. What's happening?
I mean, I guess that's true.
You bring your Dyson Airwrap on the carry-on? I don't think so.
Well, listen, if you are bringing the Dyson Airwrap, do keep it on your person. You do not want the airline to lose that.
You're so right.
Do you air wrap?
No, I actually tried to air straight. This is like the most females. We are the most feminist Big Pig Pod. There's not one man still listening to this.
Yeah, that knows what an air
Dyson
wrap is.
I tried to use the air straight yesterday because I'm going to cut my hair. I'm doing a bob.
Oh, that's exciting.
Spoiler alert for you guys who care about my hair. And I was like, but I need to straighten it because my hair is curly. And it did not work for me.
Okay.
I think I need the full-on damage heat.
Oh, okay. So it's a different attachment or a different machine?
It's a different machine. It's like a flat iron version of the air wrap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got it. I see. I read a lot about the air wrap, which for those of you not listening is like like listening and not following along. for some reason, is like a viral, like a very expensive hair tool.
It's a very high quality blow-out brush with several other attachments.
Yes.
That uses like patented Dyson technology.
And it's
so
like
it's less
$600
damaging.
and it's like really big on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I
do want one.
It's too much work is what I ultimately decided. I was like, I'm actually not
Do you
that
blow your
patient.
hair out?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah, but I have just like a sort of like the round dry
Sure.
brush thing because I can't be. It's too much. Okay. Lonely
we've
Planet
digressed.
is an incredible movie that's definitely going in the garbage cannon.
100,000%.
The final one I just put in to be cute. Have you seen Let Them All Talk? The Steven Soderbergh movie starring Meryl Streep and Candice Bergen.
That's the one I wanted to push back on you. I thought that was a really good movie.
It's a fantastic
it's
movie.
It's actually really
good.
But
it literally meets all the criteria. It was straight to max. Meryl Streep, Big Little Lies, star season 2, Oscar winner.
Yeah, but it's way too
about women.
It's way too good to be in this.
They filmed it on a boat.
There's no romantic real plot, except unless you count the subplot of the nephew.
Yeah.
It's Meryl Streep, international treasure, Diane Wiest, who I love, Candice Bergen, who I love triply. That's my girl.
Listen, speak on it.
Women of a certain age, not even of a certain age of the other garbage cannon. We're talking another rung up.
Right.
And it's about bigger themes, right? It's about friendship, relationship, betrayal. Like, she is a writer, so that does tick that box.
Like, it's kind of all there.
I mean, so sometimes they improvise the dialogue.
Garbage women can be good.
Steven Soderbergh directed
we contain
this.
multitudes. Whatever,
Okay, I'll put it, but it's at the top of Mount Garbage Women.
Fine.
This is the shining star.
That's fine.
I loved it.
It's really good.
It's really good.
All right, so we can expand the aperture a bit. So non-Big Little Lies Oscar winners. There are more here than you want there to be. The most obvious one is The Idea of You. Anne Hathaway, Amazon Prime. Adaptation of a very successful romance novel.
Which is fanfic.
The character does bear a lot of resemblance to Harry Styles.
Okay.
Right?
Are you a Harry Styles girly? Does he do it for you?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
But I'm not I haven't been to a concert.
Okay.
For a long time, I hadn't listened to any of the songs. And then one day I was like, oh, so that's what Watermelon Sugar is? I've heard that before.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, sure. I get it. He seems to have charisma.
Yeah.
The guy playing whatever version of him in The Idea of You does not have charisma.
Oh, you don't think so? I thought he was so hot.
You know what? So this is interesting.
I don't know if he has charisma, but he's really hot.
Yeah, sure. Everyone in these movies is beautiful.
British accent for me is a real easy swap out for charisma. I'm like, if you have a British accent, I'm buying it. I'm in. I'm sold.
My problem was that I did not believe that he was worth all of the hoopla that Anne Hathaway had to go through.
There is no earned relationship there.
Yeah. Even and including the sex scene, which I guess was okay, but was really not that hot.
No.
So this is Anne Hathaway is a gallery owner.
In Silver Lake.
Who but that was not Los Angeles. And accompanies her daughter to Coachella.
Triggering. This is a horror movie for me on many levels, and I'm going to explain to you, but it was absolutely a horror movie.
For a One Direction type band's
meet and greet.
And performance, sure. Has One Direction headlined Coachella? Yasi?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I've never been to Coachella.
That was also fanfic. That was aspirational.
Yeah. And then
First of all, she's wearing sandals. What are you even talking?
Can
you not to Coachella? Are you insane?
Well,
this is disgusting.
I wouldn't know because I've never been to Coachella, but I actually do like that outfit. And of all of the aspirational mom wardrobes, I was like, oh, that is pretty good. And I have sort of she's wearing an ombre shirt, and I bought a ombre button down.
You were inspired by by her Coachella outfit.
Anyway, the Harry Styles type guy takes an interest in Anne Hathaway.
Who wouldn't? She's drop dead gorgeous. She's truly stunning.
No, she looks incredibly beautiful. And then they have a passionate love affair transcending continents, generations, and her ex-husband's approval.
Played by the guy from Veep, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty mean. This is directed by Michael Showalter.
I wanted to.
It's not bad. It's not
not
poorly made.
No, but it's okay. why can't I have in bold? Why can't the writing be good?
I mean, it's tough. It's co-written by Jennifer Westfeldt,
who I love.
Yeah,
but there is
like Grown Ups made this movie.
Your point about like it doesn't seem worth you throwing up. Like I'm sorry to do a dramatic reenactment, but there was just one moment that the dialogue was so bad I had to write it down, where they're talking and she goes, "Okay, Hayes Campbell, that's his name." And he goes, "Not the first and last name." I can't remember. That was Scottish.
Was that Scottish?
I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm not good at accents. Unlike Nicole Kidman. And then she goes, "You don't like that?" And he goes, "It just doesn't tell the whole story." And then she gets really serious and goes, "I can see that." And I'm like, "What? See what? What are you even talking about?" And this is supposed to be like a moment where they've really deeply connected. And I'm like, "You've known this man for one day. What can you see? What are you guys even fucking on about?" And then they're in love. And I'm like, okay, I need to just like, you need to earn it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, they're like not in love. Then they're just like having sex.
But then
they're separated because TMZ gets the photos and she goes to camp and her daughter's like really mad.
Why the hell did she, first of all, why did she fly coach to go see him? Why are you in coach? I was so thrown off by that. I was like,
well, she's doing it herself, right?
I don't know. I thought she called him. She didn't surprise him.
Yeah, but I think that
if that pop star doesn't send me a fucking first class flight, I'm not coming.
Listen, you, as the host of Blandsplain, you set the rules, and I mean I agree with you.
Really
but I do think she was doing it herself, or that she was supposed to be empowered. You know,
him it was playing like the acoustic guitar in the bed. So triggering for me.
Really,
so triggering.
really, really tough. No one wants to be a part of that. And then her daughter is a great actress who's like
also
25.
Perfect casting because she looked so much like she could be Anne Hathaway's daughter.
Except like that person doesn't need to go to sleepaway camp because she's a grown up.
Yeah, she's not.
It's okay.
She's meant to be like 15.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I know. Yeah.
I'm like, this is a woman.
Right. I'm also kind of like sleepaway camp is letting people check TMZ every day.
No, they didn't have phones. So I think it was not till they got picked up that everyone found out about it because they were like freed from the tyranny of phone jail or whatever.
Okay. I wasn't really a camp person. Were you a camp person?
No, my parents are foreign. We don't do that.
Okay.
No.
Weird movie. I enjoyed it.
I didn't.
You didn't enjoy it.
I mean, there were some parts where I enjoyed. I just love her. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But like from the beginning where they're like, Maggie Rogers song and the silver, like the Sunset Junction sign. I was like, oh no, come on. I don't deserve this.
The obligatory all-time reference. All-time is a...
Maybe if you're not here, and I don't want to be like a snob and like, this is like, if you're not here, it probably doesn't hurt that much to see these things. But I was like, I want to hear about
Glendale
All-time. I've always wanted to go to Glendale. Yeah. Also, the piece of art that she's like, it makes me feel everything. That is one of the ugliest pieces of art I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Okay. But it goes in.
Your best friend and co-host, Jonathan Fennessy, gave this 3.5 stars on
really
Letterboxd.
Liked it.
I was blown away.
He's a big Anne Hathaway stan.
Same, but...
And listen, I think if you're just like coming to this movie, it plays as a movie.
It is a movie.
You know,
the actors
it is a movie.
Are clearly visible, and it's in English.
And I think also because it was Anne Hathaway and because it was like directed by Michael Showalter and like a little buzzy, people saw it, which is some of the garbage women movies like We're Alone, you know, in the salt mines with Lonely Planet, you know, like not everyone is seeking them out, but people saw the idea of you, so that's good.
Okay, I'll give it. I liked the Wang Chung needle drop. Okay, I'll be sort of positive.
All right, so this one is borderline, but I have a case for it. The Good Nurse.
Okay, that one I didn't watch.
Yeah, so this is not a comedy. This is a thriller starring Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne. But she plays it's a Netflix film, and she plays a nurse, or some sort of like medical professional.
Another allowable female job.
Yeah, another allowable female job, and like a working mom, and she is faced with something very horrifying at work, and so she's trying to keep her family safe and like do the right thing. And is Jessica Chastain, Oscar winner, just in like a very pulpy, confusing Netflix
Eddie
movie.
Eddie Redmayne
also an Oscar winner. Yeah. So it's definitely garbage something.
Maybe it's like a Holland situation where they were tricked into thinking it was going to be a really good movie, and then it wasn't. I didn't see it, so I can't pass judgment.
So I don't think that Garbage Women has to be strictly romantic comedy. Okay. I think that holds us in, you know?
Right.
And we can be mediocre in a lot of different ways.
Right.
And really, really famous actresses can take all types of bad parts.
Sure.
But this one, because it does also center on Eddie Redmayne a lot, it's more of like a garbage two-hander.
Right.
So maybe it's more like...
It's equal opportunity, gender equality, garbage movie.
Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy.
Well, you know how I felt about that.
Yeah, you were on The Big Picture
Loved
listening
it.
to this. Yeah.
I love that movie.
But it's... Do you think it's good?
In what sense?
That is the question
on what metric?
Of Garbage Women.
It's hard to say with a sequel because you have like so much built up goodwill for this character.
And this is a forquel, so
I would have seen it in the theater. 100%.
Yes.
I was actually mad that I was robbed of that experience of getting to go to Alamo Drafthouse or whatever and have a giant wine and some truffle popcorn with my gals.
Right.
And like live it up.
Right. Instead, you did that with your parents at home.
I did that with my parents at home.
Did your parents like it?
No, actually, I watched that by myself.
Oh, okay.
But I think my parents would have liked it. My mom she's a fan.
Yeah.
My dad would have probably not.
remember your mom. I guess your mom watched the third Bridget Jones film with you.
Yes.
And said
that's the baby.
Yeah, and Patrick Dempsey's in it.
Right.
And
she said he shouldn't talk.
Yes,
but
exactly.
He's very handsome.
And that stayed with me.
She has a real cutting thing to say about some celebrities, and I'm always like, oh, why do you hate this person so much?
I think, this is technically IP. And the original was theatrically released.
Correct.
And sort of and it was a big budget thing.
Yeah.
And made money and is a cultural phenomenon. And I love it dearly.
I think it is garbage movie canon or garbage women. Yeah.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
Because, which I've been dying to talk about this whole time, the May December. Is that what you call it when it's a woman and a man? Or is it the other way?
I think it can go both ways.
Okay.
As seen in the film May December, which is not eligible.
Because
even though Netflix did acquire it and
it was released in the theater.
Well, it's more that I guess it wasn't ultimately really nominated for Oscars, but it was very prestige-y.
Got it. Yeah, it was.
It's too fancy.
Not to be like sixth wave feminism or the feminism has left my body, but why are we pushing so hard for women to date younger men and it to be so empowering when men do it in movies? Everyone's like, ugh, can you believe this crime against humanity that this man is committing? What is the fucking difference?
I don't understand why we're doing it either.
It doesn't do it for me.
I guess there are many women for whom it speaks to them, for whom it is appealing.
Right.
And that, I'm not here to judge, I guess, as long as everyone is being, consensual and responsible.
I think if the idea is no, women over 40 are still desirable. I'm all about that.
Right.
But if it's only to younger men, then it's a fetish. Do you know what I mean? Can you just put it with a regular
you are
aged
observing,
man?
A real commercial trend.
Yeah.
That is clearly making its way into movies at I don't know if it's over-representative, but we've had a lot at once because people are Hollywood is it seems like people who watch streaming movies are interested in this.
It's
totally.
kind of mama stay, but for dating. It's you go girlfriend.
It is troubling. In Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, there is that scene where he comes back and she is she's being responsible for both of them, and it's no, because you need this life. Right. And so maybe
subverts the form.
Maybe we think it's okay because the women are conscientious and are thinking about everyone as opposed to the men.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is strange. Leo Woodall is he was great in it. So he's very good. Okay. I have two more.
Okay.
Sort of controversial, but
I think I only saw one of them.
That's okay. So the first one, and this is a real self-own of sorts here, but listen, everything's on the table. On the Rocks.
Okay. I did see that one.
Written and directed by Sofia Coppola, who is an Oscar winner.
So is she the garbage woman in this scenario?
Well, so she is the reason that it's eligible. So we're stretching it a little.
Right.
And it's a 2020 movie.
Right.
So it was co-produced. It was A24 and Apple. So I don't know whether it was ever intended to have a theatrical thing, but it just did streaming, I believe, because of 2020. I don't know. Maybe it was in theaters.
I didn't even know
2020 was
existed,
really tough.
So.
I watched it at home. It stars Rashida Jones and Bill Murray.
Yep.
You know, there are parts of it I thought it
was kind of good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's like not Sophia's strongest work. But it's, you know, it's not going to be on the 25 for 25 list. Sorry for the spoilers. But it does also fit. It's like about a mom who...
Why does she have so many striped shirts?
Well, I mean, because I have striped shirts.
I know, but because like every shirt is a striped
that's because that's
shirt.
how Sophia dresses.
I
and
see.
so she's like,
this is her proxy for herself.
Exactly.
And her proxy for her relationship with her father.
Right.
Which is also why she cast Rashida Jones, because she has a similar father, daughter.
Father.
Or had R.I.P.
I do think Rashida Jones is a writer. Or maybe she's
100% a writer.
Yeah, she's definitely like
she's
spending
working on
time
her
in
novel
a laptop. Yeah.
She was given an advance for that she needs to turn in.
Right, but it's hard because she's a mom. Yeah. And then her husband is like maybe having an affair. So then she and her dad like have hijinks. But it's kind of like melancholy because it's a Sofia Coppola movie.
Yeah. I thought...
And then there's a really good Cy Twombly in Bill Murray's apartment.
Bill Murray's client's apartment.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
I just watched it yesterday, which is why it's... And this morning, actually. It's so beautiful because it's Sofia Coppola. It's so beautifully shot. Bill Murray, never a bad thing to say about that man. He's
completely
a phenomenal actor. The face acting he does, he's so charming. He's so wonderful. The story is okay. It's a little flimsy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I liked that it was like bringing up the ideas of like, can men ever be faithful? Can, you know, like, can you hold your husband's interest if you have children? And you're like, there's that great dialogue bit about like him saying like, she's like, why did you cheat on mom? And he's like, you know, explains why. And he was wonderful.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Jenny Slate, by the way, also is in this movie, just in like a repeating little like
the drop off mom.
Mom.
It's really funny.
She was wonderful.
Yeah.
I like Rashida Jones, but I was like, I wonder if this could have been a better movie if there was a different actor.
Yes, with someone holding the center a little more.
But not
bad.
It was so believable. I'm like, you are this like mom who, you know, was raised probably by this man and has some money and is raising 2 children and
I think it's garbage women in text, but maybe not in like in the trappings certainly not in the Sofia Coppola of it
maybe
all.
Like her and the character make it garbage women though, respectfully. It's because she does the thing which is all the other movies. Like, you are not doing a thing. This character is not doing a thing that makes me root for you or makes me want your husband to still be interested in you. Like it's not like, oh my God, which, you know, I don't want to spoil it, but whatever, what he does or doesn't do. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah. I think because it's 2020, it's like it does not represent the like last 3 to 4 years of like big names making like direct to streaming, like slightly half-baked romantic comedy-esque movies, which is like the bread and butter of garbage women and like is an observable trend.
Yeah.
But I do think it counts.
I think it counts too.
Okay. The other one, I'm going to be honest, I didn't get around to watching it. Did you watch any of Unicorn Store?
No.
From 2017, starring Brie Larson, who did win an Oscar. I didn't either. We don't know. We won't find out.
We'll never know. It's a mystery.
I did make a list of some films that are not eligible in this category.
Okay.
Julia Roberts for Ticket to Paradise, which, despite what you might remember, did play in theaters.
I don't even know what that movie is.
That also stars George Clooney.
Nope.
Oh, it's actually
right. It was like they were old.
It
it's like they're reunited. They're older, and it's a rom-com. I didn't.
Yes.
See it.
Yeah.
In the style of that Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder movie.
Yes, exactly.
I really did like, even though it wasn't good.
I think that had it not played in theaters,
you wouldn't have seen it.
No. It would be Garbage Women.
I see.
And frankly, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
But you know, is it Pretty Woman? No, it is not. Okay. Charlize Theron, The Old Guard, which is a movie I've seen, but there's like some superhero sci-fi. Well, I can't remember sci-fi elements. I didn't revisit it because I think that like action moviness of it makes it a different type of garbage movie.
I love her Bob. Oh, is that why also Cameron Diaz movie wasn't part of this?
No, it's at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Because we can talk about like there's no like domestic life stuff in the old guard that I recall.
Got it.
It's more about like, world building, and I think like maybe they're like gods or something at the end. I didn't revisit it. I'm sorry. Don't yell at me, everyone, but it's not in. Sandra Bullock for Bird Box.
Oh yeah, it's a horror. It's
a horror movie, and I think that's something different.
She can't see. I didn't see it.
Previously mentioned May December, Natalie Portman, and Julianne Moore. Too like fancy,
right? Too prestige.
And then Viola Davis is in a Netflix movie called G20, which comes out in like 2 weeks. I haven't seen it yet. Seems like it could be eligible, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Okay, we have kind of one that I just called like, does it star a future Oscar winner? Navigating a rite of passage with heart and possibly humor. And this is Happiest Season, Kristen Stewart.
Right.
Which I do think counts.
Yeah.
Like a rom-com.
Yeah.
Which many of these are. And Kristen Stewart does a lot of different types of movies, which I like about her, but she still is Kristen Stewart, one of the great actors of her generation.
Yes.
And also Aubrey Plaza, who's like kind of the star of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it counts. It counts. Again, it's like a 2020 movie, and so it was on Hulu. And
it's
I don't
riding that
know
fine line. It's
where
like garbage women, holiday garbage.
Right. And that's another thing. So like holiday garbage is a different
category. A Family Affair was also riding the line of holiday garbage and because
there's Christmas.
It's set at Christmas. There's a Christmas tree from the beginning, and then they go celebrate Christmas with Kathy Bates' grandma.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But it's like California Christmas.
Yeah,
so
you don't notice it because
I'm sorry, you're of California experience, so it feels like Christmas to you all of the time, but not for me. Yeah. So all of the like Netflix Christmas movies
are
not garbage women, even though they are,
they are for women.
They are and feature women, but it's like that. It's garbage holiday, as you said, not garbage. So Happiest Season on the line. Okay, the last 4 that I have eligible are, I think, all absolutely dynamite. So Kinda Pregnant, we talked about,
loved,
but like true garbage women.
Yeah,
Irish Wish.
Love Irish Wish.
So do you feel that it goes in garbage romance, or does it work here? I called this category former box office juggernauts.
Right.
Who
it's so hard because Lindsay Lohan has not been that for so long that she's almost like transitioned into the new category.
For our generation.
Okay, yes.
For you and me here today, the two garbage women making this podcast, Lindsay Lohan is important.
Yeah, I agree.
So
and Irish Wish was kind of her comeback.
And it was like
my face is beautiful again. I'm back, bitch. And in a similar way to Your Place or Mine, I don't remember anything about it except that I loved it. And I didn't have time to rewatch it. But I did actually really like it.
And it also brought other people into the garbage women. It's not Lonely Planet.
No.
We were all experiencing it together. So I think that has value.
And they had chemistry, I thought.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay, Shotgun Wedding, your mom liked.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez. And
so
what is the man's name? Fergie's ex?
Oh, Josh Duhamel.
Is that who is it?
I think so.
Okay.
I definitely watched this movie when it came out. Yes, Josh Duhamel. And then there's a great Lenny Kravitz plays a small role.
So Jennifer Lopez qualifies for you because she was in Out of Sight and Selena.
Yeah, and Made in Manhattan,
wonderful movie.
The Wedding Planner.
The Wedding Planner, wonderful movie.
And she's Jennifer Lopez.
And she's J-Lo.
And one of my projects in life
is to watch all of her movies.
No, not just that.
Already done that.
And also, we're going to talk about a couple that I haven't seen. No, is to respect Jennifer Lopez and what she has brought to the world of cinema, to the world of music, to the world of pre-mixed liquor drinks,
Ellie?
to the tabloids. She works
She's
hard.
given us so much.
She works so hard.
Yeah.
So I take her seriously. And she's also a brand name. She's Jennifer Lopez.
She's incredible.
So there are many Jennifer Lopez straight to streaming movies that are not eligible because to me they're too like action.
Okay.
Like Atlas, which was recently on Netflix. I think also The Mother, and that it's sort of like Jennifer Lopez doing Liam Neeson roles or sci-fi roles.
Okay.
Which
she was so good in what's this that crazy sci-fi movie with Vincent D'Onofrio? I fucking love that movie.
I'm trying to think.
The Cell.
The Cell?
You've never seen The Cell?
I've never seen this.
Oh my god.
This. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were like doing like The Cell.
She has
like
so much range.
Glenn Ross. She has so much range, and also she's like Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
But like Atlas and the mother aren't really on this because they don't like sci-fi. It just goes at garbage. Sci-fi is its own genre. Right. Garbage. Liam Neeson is its own thing.
Contend with women's issues.
Right. I'm realizing now that I totally forgot "Marry Me," which is her direct to Peacock streaming video.
Oh, yes. I saw part of that, and I believe I bailed.
Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Fun fact, this is the first movie that my son Knox ever saw. He was 2 days old.
Okay.
And he sat there on the
core
couch
memory
with me.
for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really shaped everything that's coming.
His neuroplasticity.
So I think "Marry Me" would also be eligible.
I think so, yeah.
But
even though I have not finished it.
It's not very good, even though Juliette Lemmon will ride for the music in "Marry Me" because she's a pop star who's like set up.
She's married to another or set up with another pop star.
No, with Owen Wilson, because he's holding up a "Marry Me" sign at one of her concerts.
Before that, she's married to another pop star who cheats on her or something. Isn't that?
I
only watched the beginning. Yes. And then they bring
yes.
him into her world to be like, wouldn't it be great?
Like, it's like set up, but then they fall in love. Sure. Shotgun Wedding. I don't totally. I mean, it's set at a wedding, and then I think that like someone's in the mafia, and not in the mafia, but like CIA. Oh, they're all taken hostage. That's right. It's very funny. She's really good at it. It's like, a destination wedding. So like a resort location, lots of funny characters. She's kind of doing like screwball comedy.
Okay.
Bringing in a little wedding planner. Yeah. I liked it. It worked.
You and
laughed.
my mom. She liked it.
Okay. So I think that counts. Final one is Back in Action.
Yes.
This is the Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Family action comedy.
Yeah.
It is Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz together. So it is like a two-hander, and they are like former CIA agents. I think CIA.
I don't know. Yeah.
Who their cover is exposed. And so they have to.
And she's pregnant. I just watched this. Well, I didn't finish it.
Like in the past.
Oh, in the past. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But like when the movie
starts, they've
like
retired from the life because they were having a baby, and now they're just normal parents, and then their cover is exposed, due to an insane nightclub fight scene when they go to fetch their daughter, who is 16 and not supposed to be the nightclub,
But so. It is about both of them, but it's really about, can Cameron Diaz be both a mom
and a spy
and a daughter?
Oh,
because then there is also her mom issues with Glenn Close, just like doing
pretty great.
I mean, Glenn Close will show up for anything at this point and do an accent as well. So in that, since the focus is more on her, and it is as much about like, family stuff. And also the only time I laughed was mid action fight when Cameron Diaz is just like, look away, honey, or something like that, but does it with perfect comedic timing. But it was like a family laugh instead of a like action laugh.
Right.
I think maybe it could count.
I think it could count. Again, okay. I watched this with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I left. Okay. They finished it. I don't know what happens at the end. I'm sure it doesn't matter, to be honest. But I saw everything that you're talking about, and I think it counts. Especially with the Cameron Diaz-ness of it all. She
hasn't been in anything for a while. So, and it is like beloved actress who used to be in a type of movie.
Yeah, something
like
about
that you
Mary.
went to the movie theaters all the time. Totally. Emblematic of an age.
Yeah.
Is like her. Back making something not very good, but a star vehicle on a streaming service.
Which I believe was heavily watched.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what people are up to? You know what I'm saying? While they're doing whatever on their phones.
Whatever. Yeah. I love her. I love Aveline wine. Everyone knows that about me. And I think it counts, but I don't hold it against her.
Wow. Jack Sanders has been making notes as we go along.
Oh. Screaming into the void.
Yeah. This is okay, but so I'm going to read them out.
Okay.
But Jack, I think A Family Affair You're Cordially Invited, and Your Place and Mine are also in the garbage canon. Lonely Planet, Let Them All Talk, The Idea of You, Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, On the Rocks, Kinda Pregnant, Marry Me, Shotgun Wedding, and Back in Action.
Did you say Happiest Season?
Where did we go on Happiest Season? Because it was sort of holiday garbage. So maybe not?
I can't. It's so hard to tell, that one.
Okay. We can put it in. We're in charge. We can do whatever we want. I say that to Sean all the time. Okay. Now that I've read the list to you, how are you feeling about the garbage women canon? Not as this exercise. We had a great time, but how do you feel about this type of movie? How do you feel about this social experiment that I just put you through?
Yeah, I don't want to do this again.
You don't?
I loved it with you.
Yeah, but you won't seek out the next Jennifer Lawrence straight to streaming.
Here's the thing. There's so many good films I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sure.
And I just want to note for the record, I love coming on The Big Picture, but I just hope I'm not being typecast as the garbage movie expert because it does. You guys, I can talk about good movies. Yeah, I do watch good movies. Listen, it depends. What's the vibe? Is it the holidays? Even if it's not a holiday one, I'll throw it on. That's a fast and loose time where we're just lobotomy braining around.
Right.
Yeah. Do I need to watch it with my parents? Then yes, I'll watch it.
Okay.
But left to my own devices, I'd like to get through some of my unwatched letterboxed list.
So you feel you're too high-minded. Would you prefer it if the garbage women movies elevated themselves to your letterbox to watch list? Would that? Do you want them more prestige-y?
I don't think they could be. I think this is a paradox.
Okay.
Like, that's why I push so hard against Let Them All Talk.
All right.
Because I'm like, it's far too good to be a garbage women movie. Like, it kind of like catapults itself out of the genre.
I think you need to free your mind a little. I guess also, so what are you watching when you want to turn your brain off?
Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
Maybe I'm more of a garbage television watcher.
Right. So that's the thing, is that I'm here trying to find a space in cinema for my garbage taste
Got
too.
it.
You know?
Yeah.
And so we have room for all the really good movies.
Well, I loved Hot Frosty, famously.
Right. That is, in fact, why I texted you about this. Because I was like, do you watch movies other than Hot Frosty?
But the thing is, Hot Frosty knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of these garbage women movies are trying to pull one over on me.
Yeah.
They're trying to be like, no, this is good. And I'm like,
right.
It's not.
Well, because they're trying
to
a
family affair works because I think it knows that it's silly.
Yes. And it's also, I think it knows that it's trying to do the broadest audience possible.
Whereas Lonely Planet doesn't know that it's silly.
Lonely Planet is just one of the most profound achievements of just weirdness that I've ever seen in my entire life. I really love these movies because I don't feel seen very much at the movies.
You don't wish there was more mom that's a writer movie that was maybe more contending with larger themes.
Did you happen to see Night Pitch?
I didn't.
So the Marielle Heller.
I didn't even really like the book.
Amy Adams.
Yeah.
I didn't even read the book. So congratulations to you. I did see the movie while on parental leave. And typically,
how did you feel about it?
Well, so typically I have not been a Marielle Heller person.
Right.
As Sean says, it's sort of like black licorice filmmaking to me. But I did feel that all of this stuff about being a parent to a toddler was very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And, lived in and came from someone who had both experienced that, but is good at filmmaking and knows how to communicate the situations and the feelings in film. Sean and I believe it was Rob Mahoney and Joanna did a podcast about it.
I listened to that episode, yeah.
And Sean was trying to figure out why aren't there more movies about this time period in life? And for me, it was deeply
triggering.
Well, I was just kind of I don't want to spend my free time watching this. I don't want to spend my free time being reminded of the really difficult parts of having a kid. It's very hard, and I learn it all the time. I live it a large part of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I prefer my mom content in ridiculous
lighter
situations like Big Little Lies or A Family Affair.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I guess none of these people are have tiny children because I guess Bridget Jones mad about the boy
and Bridget Jones. Yeah,
they're small, and that was funny. So no, I kind of want absurd. Like sometimes I want dumb stuff too.
I get it.
You know,
yeah,
that's where I am.
I just told you I watched Grey's Anatomy in 2025. I'm caught up.
So is Juliette Littman.
Yeah, love it. Juliette, shout out my dog, my Grey's family. We love that show.
What's the latest with Meredith?
I don't want to spoil.
Okay.
You guys need to watch it. Everyone's like, do you watch The Pit? And I'm like, I should, but I'm busy watching Grey's Anatomy.
So I wish most of these movies were slightly better, but I also don't want them to be too good.
Yeah, like you want, I think A Family Affair
or Kind of Pregnant.
Watch that. Yeah, Kind of Pregnant for me is almost out of the, I'm not going to fight it, but it's almost out of the genre too because it's so funny that it's just a basic good comedy.
Right.
Whereas like, I guess if you're a man who doesn't care about any woman interiority or lives, you can't watch this, and good luck to you in life. But like to me, it's just a broad comedy. Like anyone should be able to watch this and enjoy and laugh.
Right. Well, I would like that.
Feminism. Do you see that? What?
Yeah,
right
there you go. That was beautiful. I would like that for all of them.
Yeah.
You know, except for maybe
that's not.
Except for maybe Lonely Planet. Like every once in a while, I need something like really random, like just an absolute God tier level actress taking on like the worst script to be able to go
to Marrakesh, and be with Liam Hemsworth.
There is something exhilarating about that.
Yeah.
So I hope Netflix keeps writing those checks.
Again, that one tried to be high minded. I think that was the hard part for me, where it was like
there was like some financial systems critiques in there.
The theory, and then like, oh, this is what I apply to my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I don't want to shit on this. I'm a feminist sometimes.
Yeah, it is our month.
It's our month.
We need to end on a spirit of positivity.
Yes.
Thank you for watching all of these movies. As I think we've learned that you don't seek them out on
I was going to say it was my pleasure, but that would be lying. But I was
happy
to be
that's solidarity.
You.
That's women supporting women.
That's right.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Yasi.
Namaste to you.
Thank you to Jack Sanders for his work on this episode. Thank you to our producer, Bobby Wagner. Thank you to powerful women everywhere. Next week on the show, Jack Sanders. I can't see you. But next week, you'll be able to. He's going to make his on-camera debut. I will be speaking to the next generation about how they watch movies. See you then.